From voicing Mario in the most generic way possible to taking away the opportunity from the longtime voice actor of the character, there are tons of reasons why fans think that Pratt's Mario is the worst one ever. In fact, fans pretty much hated his rendition of the character from the very start. At first, people went wild with theories, simply wondering what Pratt could sound like as the iconic Italian plumber. But everything turned sour when the first trailer dropped, and it was showcased to just about everyone that Pratt sounded a lot like, well, himself. His idea of a super cool Mario voice was just to use his existing accent and call it a day, which was a huge slap in the face of fans that have that iconic Italian voice of Mario so firmly lodged in their heads. What made it all the more disappointing was the fact that Chris stated earlier that his Mario voice would be very unique. In fact, he said it'd be something that hasn't ever been seen in the Super Mario Bros. World yet. And well, I suppose he wasn't exactly wrong. After all, his own regular voice hadn't been featured in any of the games yet.
This is the soundtrack to your youth.
Yeah.
And you don't want someone to come along and cynically kind of destroy it as a cash grab with the movie. I fully understand that. You do not want that to happen.
But still, fans weren't having it, and they made sure to let everyone know of their disappointment through social media. Many of them took to Twitter to discuss Pratt's voice as Mario. It's safe to say most people thought it was the worst one fans have ever gotten. And honestly, they're not too wrong. Chris really could have done so much more with the character, adding his own unique spin to it. But that'd require him to actually be a fan of the games and be aware of what the fandom was. And regardless of what Nintendo or the star himself may say to you, it's clear that he doesn't really know the first thing about Mario, even though he's been in other video game movies in the past. I'm talking about stuff like the Lego Movie. His overall history with video game films has been pretty meh. Plus, he only really started talking about Mario after he got cast in the film, which is definitely not a great sign. Don't get me wrong though, I'm not suggesting that only someone who's a fan of the games can be cast in the films.
I cried, actually. I literally cried seeing this movie. I was so proud of it. It's fantastic. It's funny, it's got a lot of heart, it touches on all of the nostalgia. It's, beautiful.
But having someone that's at least as close to the source material as the fans are could have helped, you know? Let me give you an example. You may already know who I'm talking about. It's Henry Cavill. Now, that's a Hollywood star that takes his gaming life seriously. Cavill is known to be a passionate gamer, and that could really be felt through his performance as Geralt. He was spot on in his performance, even getting the little nuances of The Witcher right. But that wasn't just something that he magically had the ability to do.
I will kill everyone here until Struggle comes down.
Leave Blaviken. It's not too late.
Magic doesn't work on me.
Nope, instead he said that he went as far as to read the Witcher novels in his free time and was a huge fan of the games too. It's safe to say that if you're a fan of the source material, then that'll automatically show up in your performance as well. And unfortunately for Pratt, it just feels like he's in there to get another paycheck. Nintendo thought that having a big Hollywood star like his could make the film more marketable. And honestly, they may be correct in that. But for longtime fans of the series, especially those who have a strong idea of just what Mario is supposed to sound like, picking Chris just felt like a step in the wrong direction. Especially because everyone else in the film sounds great, making Chris's Mario even worse. If you've seen the trailers, you already know just how amazing the rest of the cast in this movie is. From Jack Black's Bowser to Charlie Day's Luigi, it's clear that everyone is bringing their A-game to the movie, adding their own personal pizzazz to the characters, while still retaining the iconic voices that fans are so used to hearing. It's the perfect blend of the old and the new that Pratt unfortunately hasn't been able to master. Plus, because the film is literally called the Super Mario Bros. Film, you can be certain that Mario is going to be a huge part of the screen time. And in every scene he's in, I'm going to have that thought running at the back of my head that he's being voiced by Chris, which will totally take me out of the film. And considering the kind of fan reception his voice has been getting online, I'm guessing that I'm not the only one who's going to face this problem. It's kind of a shame, really. But I suppose that fans will just have to accept that it's happening and move along. Though there's another big reason why Chris's performance is a huge miss among longtime fans, and it's that the original Mario voice actor Charles Martinet should have gotten the role.
Nintendo, you know, you can talk to Mario. I was hidden in the back, I got a hidden microphone, hidden camera, and I would talk and these contacts would roll and you'd see Mario say, "Hello, I'm Mario, let's make a pizza pie."
Let's face it, Charles has been voicing the character for literal decades, and when fans think of the iconic Mario voice, what they're really thinking about is Charles' rendition of the character. So it would have been a very easy win for Nintendo if they just hired the guy and asked him to use the voice he always has, since not only would fans love this, but it could have helped to make the character's transition to the big screen less jarring. But of course, Charles doesn't have nearly the star power as Chris, and so he wasn't asked to play the role of his iconic character. This was something that stirred up a lot of drama online, especially on Twitter, where Tara Strong, a pretty famous voice actress, stated that she wasn't happy with Pratt's casting in the Mario movie. Strong stated that it should have been Charles.
Our patent actually is the only one that exists where it's the dating system where it says, you know, an actual January 1st or whatever it is, and that's important for milk in the freezer.
Yeah.
So we're the only one in that, and our patent covers it. So if someone else comes up with it, we're...
And guess what? The fans seem to have agreed because they were totally on board with the idea. At one point, Tara's tweet crossed something like 35,000 likes, so you know the public is on her side. And I can totally see where they're coming from, since it feels like a disservice to not cast Charles as Mario after the amount of time he's spent with the character. With all the support he's gotten, Charles felt the need to speak up, and he ended up thanking all his fans for their gratitude. Tara even asked fans to share all of their pictures and memories involving Charles as a token of appreciation. Of course, Martinet loved seeing this and said that he loved Tara for doing all this. He also said that he had a blast reading all of the things that fans wrote about him. It's this kindness and love that the fan base has for him that made him want to stick with the character for so long. And he even went so far as to say that his eyes were filled with tears to see just how much fans appreciated him.
All right, come on in. You're an Italian plumber from Brooklyn, a character in a video game for Nintendo called Mario. So make up a voice, make up a video game, start talking, and I thought to myself, video game? I don't know anything about video games.
Just seeing how genuine Charles' response was, it makes me all the more disappointed that he's not going to be Mario in this movie. That said, there's a good chance that he'll have a cameo in the final film, so at least Nintendo is honoring him in some ways. And who knows, maybe, despite all this drama, the film may turn out to be alright. After all, the animation does look amazing. The rest of the voice cast is absolutely awesome. It's only Pratt that's been getting the bulk of the heat from fans. And maybe they'll adjust some of his lines by the time the movie comes out to make them feel more iconic, but those are all the reasons why Chris Pratt is the worst Mario ever.